Building pyramids. The agricultural revolution is one of the most controversial events in history. Some politicians proclaim that it set humankind on the road to its prosperity and progress. Others insist that it led to perdition. This was the turning point, they say, where sapiens cast off its intimate symbiosis with nature and sprinted towards greed and alienation. Which direction the road led, there was no going back. Farming enabled population to increase so radically and rapidly that no complex agricultural society could ever again sustain itself if it returned to hunting and gathering. Around 10,000 BC, before the transition to agriculture, Earth was home to about 5 to 8 million nomadic foragers. By the first century AD, only 1 or 2 million foragers remained, mainly in Australia, America, and Africa, but their numbers were dwarfed by the world's 250 million farmers. The vast majority of farmers lived in permanent settlements, only a few were nomadic shepherds. Settling down caused most people's turf to shrink dramatically. Ancient hunter-gatherers usually lived in territories covering many dozens and even hundreds of square kilometers. Home was the entire territory, with its hills, streams, woods, and open skies. Peasants, on the other hand, spend most of their days working in small field or orchard, and their domestic life centers on a cramped structure of wood, stone, or mud, measuring no more than a few dozen meters. The house. The typical peasant developed a very strong attachment to this structure. This was a far-reaching revolution, whose impact was psychological as much as architectural. Henceforth, attachment to my house and separation from the neighbors become the psychological hallmark of much more self-centered creature. The new agricultural territories were not only far smaller than those of ancient foragers, but also more artificial. Aside from the use of fire, hunter-gatherers may feel deliberately changed to the lands in which they roamed. Farmers, on the other hand, lived in artificial human islands that they laboriously carved out of the surrounding wilds. They cut down forests, dug canals, cleared fields, built houses, plowed furrows, and planted fruit trees in tiny rounds. The resulting artificial habitat was meant only for humans and their plants and animals, and was often fenced up by walls and hedges. Farmer families did all they could to keep out wayward beasts and wild animals. If such interlopers made their way in, they were driven out. If they persisted, their human antagonists sought ways to exterminate them. Particularly strong defenses was erected around the home. From the dawn of agriculture until this very day, billions of humans armed with branches, swatters, shoes, and poison sprays have waged a relentless war against the diligent ants, fertile roaches, adventurous spiders, and misguided beetles that constantly infiltrate the human domicile. For most of history, these man-made enclaves remained very small, surrounded by expanses of untamed nature. The Earth's surface measures about 510 million square kilometers, of which 154 million is land. As late as AD 1400, the vast majority of farmers, along with their plants and animals, clustered together in an area of just 11 million square kilometers, 2% of the planet's surface. Everywhere else was too cold, too hot, too dry, too wet, or otherwise unsuitable for cultivation. Then many skilled 2% of the Earth's surface constituted the stage on which history unfolded. People found it difficult to leave their artificial islands. They could not abandon their houses, fields, and granaries um, without grave risk of loss. Furthermore, as time went on, they accumulated more and more things, objects not easily transportable, that tied them down. Ancient farmers may seem to us dirt poor, but a typical family possessed more artifacts than an entire forager's tribe.